You know, most of us that ride motorcycles love our bikes to be loud and fast. But is that what I really need? And is that what you really need? Stick around, let's talk about it. Hey everybody, my name is Ty and welcome back to the channel. So if you are an existing subscriber, I sure do appreciate you guys coming back week after week and hanging out with me and watching my videos. If you are a new subscriber, let me just say welcome. It's awesome to have you on board. And today we're talking about the 131 stage 4 kit type of thing. Do you really need it for your motorcycle? Do I really need it for my motorcycle? So that's what I wanted us to chat about today. Now, do you guys remember back in the early 2000s, what was the hot motorcycle trend? If I remember this right, it was choppers. And the reason it was choppers, you guys remember the TV show from the Discovery Channel, Orange County Choppers?
Hey, without a day off.
You're a delusional.
You were walking in for
delusional people. You're as delusional as everybody you talk about.
That was a huge hit and a huge success and really catapulted those guys into the stratosphere, launched their career in their business. And Orange County Choppers was huge, man. Everybody wanted one of those things. And if you didn't have a chopper, you were probably certainly watching the TV shows, you know, Biker Build Off and all that thing. I remember all those, watched them all, absolutely loved it. So now you fast forward, what, from some 20-something odd years, and when it comes to motorcycling, what is one of the big trends right now? Well, it is performance bagger. I'm sure we've seen Moonshine Harley Davidson advertised. If you've seen their YouTube channel, man, they do some incredible, absolutely incredible work with performance baggers. I mean, really some high-end stuff. And it is awesome. The cool thing about it is Moonshine Harley Davidson is really only, what, about an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours away. So they're pretty close. I visited that dealership several times. They are really good over there at what they do. Very friendly staff as well. Now, as we get started in this video, let me just say this. I'm not sitting on top of my high horse telling you guys you shouldn't do this or even that you should. We're just going to be looking at some facts and let me give you my thoughts about it. Now, here are some of my beginning thoughts. I have been so tempted to do this. So tempted to buy like a a Road Glide Special or a Road Glide ST, ship that thing off to Moonshine Harley Davidson or White Lightning Harley Davidson and just pimp it out. I mean, break it down to the frame and build it back up with all performance bagger parts. I've been totally tempted to do so. So let's get into it. I've really thought about 3 different aspects: cost, practicality, and time. So we'll talk about those 3, maybe not in that order, but we're going to talk about those 3. Let's talk about cost first. All right, I got on Harley Davidson's website and started digging around in some of the Screaming Eagle performance kits and upgrades. So to go from a 117, which is what this CVO has, to go to a 117 to a 122, you're talking about $1,855. So almost $1,900 just for what, 5 extra cc in the engine. If you wanted to go to the big 131 from a 117, the upgrade kit, that's going to cost you right at $3,602 according to my notes that I have here. And then if you wanted to go big, if you wanted to go really big, you can get the 131 crate engine, and that bad boy is going to cost you $6,500. Now, the thing about the information that I just gave you is that that's just cost. That's just what it cost you to buy the kit or to buy the upgraded parts and that type of thing, not labor. So then you have to think of labor on top of that. How much is it going to cost? And just to give you a little bit of an idea, you know, I don't know the hourly rate or really what it does. I'm just going based off of my experience. A few years ago, excuse me, did you hear that? A few years ago, I had a Tahitian Teal Street Glide. It was a 2020, beautiful bike. Anyway, I put a stage 3 in that one, had White Lightning do it. Now I went from a 107 in that motorcycle to a 122, I think it was. And the kit was right around $1,800. And then with labor, I mean, I didn't get out of the dealership. It was right about $4 grand it cost with everything. And I swore to myself, wow, I am never, ever doing this again. I mean, the engine had so much pull and so much more power compared to what it did from the factory, but still it was just so very expensive. Now I understand cost is, you know, subjective. A lot of people are fine with dumping that much money into an engine upgrade, and if you've got the money and you want to do it, I say go for it. If it makes you happy, really, you just need to know what you're in for and what you expect. All right, we talked about cost. Let's talk about time. So I know time has got to be a factor, because if you're doing one of these big builds, you know, from the frame up, let's say, that you see on Moonshine Harley Davidson, some of the awesome stuff they do. Now, from my understanding, you're talking about a lot of time. Like, you better be prepared to be without your bike.
One eternity later.
You know, it just depends, I guess, on parts and labor and, you know, how much time the dealership has and that type of thing. But I would say, as far as time goes, you really need to be prepared to drop your bike off and leave it for a while and be prepared to be without it. Now, I know, as I mentioned, that other Street Glide that I had, that engine upgrade that I did, the 107 to the 122, I think. Now, that one, I think they had my bike for 4 days when they did that upgrade. So it really wasn't bad. It wasn't a big deal, but, you know, you are going to be without your bike for a period of time. So if you do one of these rebuilds, you might want to consider that as well. Now, out of the 3 topics that we're talking about today, this one probably would be the biggest factor for me, and that's practicality. Because when it comes to cost, if you've got the money and you want to throw at it, do it. If you don't mind waiting, do it. But if you do it, if you have this upgrade on your motorcycle, is it practical for you? Are you going to be able to use it? And here's what I mean. Like for the type of riding that I do, man, I don't even touch what this 117 can do. You know, I can't imagine dropping a 131 in this motorcycle. It would just fly, and I would never, ever use that type of power. Now, a lot of the roads that we have here in Tennessee and the surrounding areas, a lot of curves, a lot of twisties, a lot of mountains and hills and that type of thing. So you have to keep that in mind as well. You know, what part of the country are you in, what type of terrain and everything. Because if I lived somewhere that had more straightaways and not a lot of traffic, okay, you know, I might be inclined to pursue that interest of a 131 a little more. But for the type of riding I do, for the type of roads that I ride on, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for me. And on top of that, I've got a buddy of mine who's got, I'm not sure what his what year his Road Glide is, and I think it's got a 103, maybe it's a 110, might be a 103, but anyway, he has zero problem keeping up with this Street Glide. And that's just because even a 103 or a 110, whatever it was he has, still has plenty of power to do the type of riding that we need to do. So I think that needs to be a huge factor when you're thinking about upgrading your engine. So as we're closing out this video, here's what I'm thinking about. Do I need a 131 on this motorcycle? I think the answer to that question is no. Do I want a 131 for this motorcycle? Of course I would want one. Of course I do want one. But I have to think about those things. Does the cost bother me? Does the time bother me? Does the practicality bother me? And for those 3 things, the practicality just doesn't meet the criteria of what I want to do and my type of riding with this motorcycle. So for me, I'm going to have to pass for now. But that doesn't mean you have to. I'd say if you can check those boxes and it's good for you, man, go for it. Upgrade your motorcycle and have a dang good time doing it. Well, if there's one thing that time has shown us, it is that trends come and go. Today, performance bagger. Who knows what tomorrow's motorcycle craze is going to be, but it's going to be really cool to see it, that's for sure. So thank you guys very much for sticking around with me today. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have an excellent day, and we'll talk to you again soon.